Hello, thanks for dropping in. I just thought I'd give a bit of an update on this fine, rare machine here. I was looking online and finding things, and indeed I found some advice about how to tinker on these machines, which I pretty much knew, but it was nice sometimes to get a refresher on what is what. So what this online resource said, which I did kind of remember, is that a pet like this doesn't need everything to operate. It only needs 4 RAM chips, and you don't need either of the pet-ieee chips in the machine to have it come alive. So I removed all the Raptors. Keep in mind, I did test all these chips in another machine. I did. And everything seemed just tickety-boo. Anyway, yes, took out the RAM chips carefully, put them down, upside down, took out the pet-iee's, and then turned this machine on. And one thing I found for sure, there we are, is well, it says it should come up and tell you, I think it has 1023.3. Well, certainly this is not doing that. Oh, the stick is stuck. I've also, excuse me, I've also found, there we go. Oh, it's back. I'm pretty sure I really need to go inside the monitor here and have a look at the connector. Here we have stuff, but if I sort of tap, it comes and goes. It doesn't mean the monitor shutting off. It means probably the connector, that the cable that goes up to the monitor needs a little well, maybe just sliding on and off a bit, shining up the connectors a bit, you know, contact cleaner, stuff like that. But here we have much what we have seen before. I don't know exactly what this means. Now, because this pet has this funky B and C connector in the back, that supposedly has composite output video, is what people tell me, I'm going to try and look for a connector that I might make use of along, well, probably what I need is a connector and an adapter or something of that nature, or maybe somewhere. I don't think I have a BNC connector that goes to a video output sort of RCA jack. Oh, hello. See, it does that. It just does that. Hello. Hello. So it's there. But something is upset. And see, when I open, oh dear, the RAM chips have been shuffled. Oh dear. This connector was not on. Anyway, if I tweak this cable, which is the cable that goes upstairs, it kind of comes and goes. So I think there's something up there. Oh, there's a RAM chip. Not easy to see black on black here. Ow, it's gone again. Anyway, I do think that I will search and see about seeing what's coming out of that output as opposed to this output, because maybe there's something different. I'm also, I suppose, tempted to attempt changing the screen RAM chips again, even though I know they should be fine. Anyway, so the pieees are out. Supposedly, you know, with no RAM and no pieees, the machine should come up, just so that you can then work from there. Yeah. Anyway, obviously, something else is amiss here. And what does that mean? I don't know. Oh, they're coming and going again. There are, in terms of support chips, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, it looks like 38. Oh, did I miss those two? Maybe 40. 40. I think I'll turn this off. Oh, it's back. Very strange. Oh. Anyway, there's a lot of little support chips. There are. And, you know, it's really attractive in some ways to think that maybe what I could do in the grand scheme of things is make myself a diagnostic pet like this that has sockets on everything. Sounds beautiful. It does. It's a lot of desoldering, and of course every time you do such things there's a chance that you will cause trouble or damage something. Anyway, I'm pondering now. So anyway, what am I doing? I'm going to, as I say, try and get where I can see the video coming out of the back of this thing. The other thing is somewhere over behind me on the desk, I keep saying I gotta clean up, is this beautiful pet diagnostic thing. And I think it works inside these machines. I think it does. But I'm not sure. And what it is, it's a circuit board that you take out the 6502, make sure the dip switches are in the correct settings for the board you have, and it should go and do things. So it's on the desk over there, but that desk is rather full of stuff. I keep on saying I gotta get that cleared off. It's not cleared off. It's a disaster. But I'll see about that. Yes. Anyway, so for the moment, this is kind of on hold. You know, before I go and start doing all kinds of exotic things, I really should try and run that diagnostic thing. Mind you, if the screen isn't coming up, I mean, what's it going to tell me? But I should at least try. I should. And maybe if I can put it in this one. I don't know. Anyway, what good are diagnostics if you don't run them? Well, yeah. Anyway, I was really hoping and hopeful that when I tested all the chips and found the 2 bad RAM chips and all that this would be fine. But it is not. Yet. I'm not giving up on it. I'm not. I mean, in the end, it may be, if I can't make the board work, then perhaps parts will help other things. But I'm not ready to give up yet. Doesn't mean that day won't happen. So I think the next thing I'm going to do, in terms of stuff, is I have the board from the chocolate machine that still needs more work. So I think I'm going to unsolder anything and everything that could have possibly been affected by the chocolate, get the chocolate off, replace the sockets, and just ensure that that board is dandy. And who knows, if it really comes down to it, if I can't get this going, then maybe maybe that board will end up in here. Maybe. Possibly. One thing I did find with the ROM chips that are, ooh, they are getting hot, I wonder. I did, by the way, figure out how to check the voltages off the things here, and they all came up at what they should. They did. But, ooh, yeah, that's hot. I'm going to turn this off. It doesn't mean there isn't some other something. One thing I can tell you though, if I do end up putting another board in here, I'm going to figure out how to put a connector on that power connector, or on the wires. That was a special kind of hell. It was. And I don't want to go through that thing. Or maybe, oh, what could I do? Well, I suppose I could switch the power supply. Or switch the wires, or I don't know. Anyway, somehow or another, I don't want to deal with that again. And you know what? Somehow or another, it's very tempting that if this board ever does show signs of life, to somehow get whatever is needed to have the prongs come through the board. So I can put a plug on here, because I can't do that again. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Which is probably why eventually, after calls from service centers and other people saying, "What are you doing to us?" they put a plug on there. Also means it can come out, it can go in. Whereas this one has the added joy of the BNC interface in the back, which also would, you know, I didn't want to mess with that. That's why I ended up soldering things back on the way they did. But anyway. Yes. So, the endless journey has no end. At least not yet. Anyway, I suspect the next episode will probably be more socket and chocolate removal from the other board, and then of course testing, and then of course once again over here I have a funny data set that was working, that isn't working. Yeah. But you know, when you're dealing with things that are this old, you never know, you might get it just. Actually, it's funny, I was talking with a fellow, Rudy was his name, and he did a great video on stuff to do with an Atari 2600, and it was dandy and it was fine and life was good and the video went well, and he did, I'm not sure if it was an upgrade or a repair or whatever. He was up to do the video now that I remember it. Anyway, it looked great, everything was dandy, did the video, life is good, and shortly thereafter, the 2600 died. Anyway, so, but he thinks he knows what it is, and he's going to order whatever is necessary and hopefully get that up and going again. But didn't die during the video, and I don't think it was anything to do with his handiwork, because he's very handy. Another thing I'll be doing is the great genius Steve Gray lent me an interface to let me use an SD card on a PET. I have not done this, I have not ventured into this brave new world yet, but I will, with his help. I have not done it yet, I have not, you know, I've been busy tinkering on these machines, and from what I know, a basic one, which these machines have, things to do with disk drives and the ieee-ieee, etc., was not good. That's why I needed to upgrade to basic 2. Anyway, yeah, I need to get another pet in here and tinker with IEEE things. Anyway, yes, the genius Steve Gray keeps coming up with things. He had, at the World of Commodore, I would see him and I would talk to him, and he had a color pet, and he had a 4080 thing. I think you just had to press escape 4 or escape 8, and it would switch back and forth, and all kinds of things. He's also very much into the bee machines, and has quite a wonderful collection of all sorts of things. He does. Anyway, someone was asking, because he's working on the second version of his SD board thing, if he might sell them, and I think he said he might sell the boards but not populate it, and I don't know, maybe I can work with him and set it up where if, he does all the magical stuff that, you know what, here's what I think. I think selling the boards is a fine thing, but selling the boards with all the parts necessary is much better for someone to put together, or have somebody assemble them and test them before they go out. Maybe if he doesn't have time for that, maybe I can help with that. I don't know. We'll see. But certainly I think if he was going to sell the boards, it should come with all the little parts, all the little things necessary, because I can't imagine walking into my electronics place with an empty board and saying, "Hi, I need all these things," and having it go well. I just don't see it. Anyway, that is an update on what is going on, what I've been doing, what I'm thinking about doing. And, yeah, am I somewhat frustrated that this didn't go well? Yes, I am. And there's another thing I think about, and that is that, with the chips way in the back of this machine, like, I'm sure they're in fine, they felt fine, and everything's fine, but you really can't see very well, so I may give them another once over, look over, tweak over, just, to look and say, okay, did I bend a pin? Is that what the trouble is? I would hate to go through a whole lot of things and then realize, oh yeah, that pin's bent under on that chip that I should have checked. Well, onward. I do thank the fellow whose name I can't remember at this time. I will update you on the thing I've been reading about diagnostics and things and such. Stuff mostly that I've known, but it's always nice to have a refresher. And I don't think he's doing it anymore, but he was one who was making other bits and pieces to go with these old pets. And who knows, maybe he will again. I know my RAM chip, the one that isn't the RAM chip, I did get from him, and there was another thing that I think is supposed to give you video, a composite video output from a machine like this, but I'm not sure where I put it. I got it a long time ago. But I sure wish I knew where it was now. I think I have an idea vaguely where it might be. I think. Well, enough for now. I hope you are inspired to attack some of your lingering projects. And it's funny, I just saw a message online not long ago, somebody asking, well, how many 64s is too many? And reminds me, somebody once said, well, it's okay to have 1541s, but you shouldn't have any more than 41. But of course with 64s, I guess the answer would be, I guess you could have 64 and that would be okay. And once again, how many do I have? I don't know. I'll work on that. I keep trying to get an accurate count, but then something happens. I lose my place. I find more. I just don't Anyway, I think I will gather myself, and assuming the timing works out, I will work on the chocolate pet for a little bit. Although I cannot finish it today because I'm still missing a socket for the RAM chip. Because of course everything is locked down, so I can't just walk into, it's a place called Sayal Electronics, and get a thing. You have to order, and it's a curbside thing, and typically you have to use a credit card, and I don't do credit cards. So, But at least I can get it tidied up, and I can get it ready. So it'll be closer, so when I get the socket, we're all good. I could solder the chip directly in, but I'm not doing that. Nope. Alright, well thank you for dropping in for this update, and I'm sure there will be more stimulating action coming along, including I must return to the 1990s and deal with whatever else I find in the basement. And I know there's more stuff in the basement, I know it. I haven't found much lately. Well, 64, 31541s, 2 Amiga 2000s, I think an MPS 803 printer, which I think it has the screws. Boy, that other printer I was working on a while ago without the screws was I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have found down there. Oh, of course there's monitors. An assortment, a wide variety, all kinds. But really most of the monitors are in the garage. I think they're mostly 1701 and 1702s, but there's a bunch of them. So, yes. Anyway, as I say, I will be, once I've tinkered on things and made sure that, like, I don't like selling things that aren't okay, and I really don't like shipping CRT monitors, because, you know, but I did. I've done two. I've done one. I haven't heard from the person who got the second one yet, but the first one must be fine because I've heard nothing. Yes. I think perhaps what I will do with most of the monitor things is go for local things with curbside pickup and all that, so that we can all stay safe, but we can all enjoy our machines. We can. So, that is enough for now. Thank you very much for being here. Until we meet again, keep your stick on the ice, stay safe, and the Toronto Maple Leafs are about to start a playoff run, and hopefully it is a run and not a sputtering disaster. Because as I've said before, I was alive the last time the Toronto Maple Leafs won the Stanley Cup, but I had not quite reached the age of 2, so I have no memory of it. I have, like many, been long-suffering Leaf fans with glimpses of glory and shattered dreams. But who knows? This might be the year. We'll see. Hopefully hopefully the Leafs do not end up with the injuries that the Blue Jays have had. The Blue Jays, it seems every time somebody pitches, the 60-day injured list gets longer. Anyway. And, oh, by the way, of course the Raptors are done. From first to not quite worst. But, you know, the way they started this year, you know, it was bound to catch up. Games at the beginning of the season are just as important as games at the end. And I have nothing against Pascal Siakam. I think he's a great man. I saw he bought his mother a house. and stuff, but unfortunately, he is not the man to have the ball when the game is on the line for that last second shot. He is not. I think there were 3 or 4 instances where he had the chance, 2 in a row I think it was, near the beginning of the season, and none of them turned out well. So I think he would be a good person to be inbounding, or to take an initial pass and pass to somebody else. Not that he shouldn't be on the floor. He's very valuable and a great distraction. But he is not the one. And I may be wrong, but I don't think he ever had any sort of winning buzzer beater shots in the season. And probably if those 4 games, I think it was 4 games, had come through, they might have actually squeaked into the playoffs. Because as you know, the playoffs is a whole other season. Everything else doesn't matter. If you start winning then, you can win. You can win it all. But anyway, we had our glory with the Raptors a couple of years ago. The Jays now getting towards 30 years ago. 30? Yeah, getting there. Not quite 30. Maybe 28 and 29, something like that. The Argonauts have won. Our soccer team has won. So, you know, we've had some success in some sports. But we want that cup. Lord Stanley, you belong with us. Even though our own Prime Minister would gently mock us because he is a Montreal fan. I think when it's all said and done, we will advance to the Final 4. After that, I don't know. But I think we will be the team to emerge from the Canadian division ready to face the unknown. Because, of course, we haven't played any of the other teams. So we may be remarkably better than any of the ones south of the border, or we may go down in 4 games straight. Who knows? Anyway. Enough for now. Thank you for being here. Always a pleasure. Bye for now.